Hello, hello. Welcome back, sweet soul, to Yoga with Paige, or welcome if we have not had the pleasure of meeting each other before. Today we have a nice lower body mobility. So this will really help increase and improve your flexibility, your range of motion. We also work through some strengthening exercises because we all know a strong body is a healthy body. So these exercises will tone, will strengthen, but they will also allow your muscles to release and improve flexibility and range of motion within these exercises. So we are focusing on the glutes, the inner and outer hips, the hamstrings, the ankles. So more of a lower body. This is great for before a run, kind of getting yourself ready and opened up, or before a nice intense workout, say leg day at the gym, or if you just woke up or are feeling extra tight today, maybe we went to the gym a few days ago and we need a little bit of help to loosen up. So this is perfect for all levels. Please modify as you see fit. We don't need any props for this practice, and we will be trying to do each posture or each movement for about 10 reps. So do what you can. If you need to stop beforehand, before the 10 are completely finished, please do so. Listen to your body throughout this practice. This is supposed to be a healing practice, a strength building practice. So we don't want to hurt ourselves. Make sure you listen to yourself and your body's cues. And with that, we can get started whenever you're ready in a nice, stable tabletop position on hands and knees. So beginning today, pressing through the palms of the hands and the tops of the feet, finding a nice, stable tabletop. And then beginning to work through the spine with some rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, press through the hands to lift the chest. And exhale, press through the tops of the feet to round through the back. Taking a few breaths here to start to move the body, especially if this practice is coming for you early in the morning. Wake up some of our joints here. Taking any extra rolls or movements that feel good, whatever your body is telling you it needs to be prepared for this practice. Moving with the breath, let's find about 2 more rounds. Beautiful, meeting in a nice neutral spine. Gazing between the thumbs, really ground down through this left foot, pressing through the left hand and the right hand. On your next exhale, send the right knee out to hip height and back down. Trying to take 10 of these, squeezing the glutes at the top. Five, halfway there. Going slower if you need to. We can always press pause. Really firing up those abdominals as well. And 10. When you reach your 10, take a breath here in tabletop to reset. Then extend that right leg long, toes on the mat. Inhale, squeeze through the glutes. Exhale, lift the toes up. And then tap the mat. This range of motion, 10 here again, will not be super, super big. We don't want the motion coming from our lower back, We want to make sure that we are squeezing through the glutes, and right as you feel this opposition, right where you want to kind of bend your back, that's where we stop. So this isn't going to be super big. Don't try to impress anyone here. Working through the hips, your stabilizer muscles. Beautiful. And once you've reached your 10, we're going to lift that leg back up, cross it behind the left leg, tap the toes, then cross it over and tap the foot about hip distance apart. So really using your core, taking only about 5 of these. So that was 2. Last one, find your center of control. Then come back in, tabletop, take the knees as wide as the mat, big toes together, reach the hands out, flowing through a little wide child pose. And then press through the hands, sinking the pelvis down, lifting the feet up into this is a frog cobra pose. So kind of just rocking back and forth, waking up the hips a little bit more, allowing them a time to stretch as we strengthen. Giving yourself a chance to calm the breath down if you need it. Finding 1 or 2 more of these before we repeat on the other side. All right. Finding tabletop whenever you are ready. And then lifting the left leg. Knee first. 10 fire hydrants. Really squeezing the glutes at the top. See if you can identify certain muscles that you're engaging wherever you feel this. And finding your 10th one, we extend the left leg, pressing the ball of the foot into the mat. Hold here for 1 breath. And then exhale, squeeze and lift. Tap. 10. Remembering to make these small, controlled, very active, still pressing away from the mat. Take your time. Enjoy the burn. Beautiful. And then crossing over, tapping the ball of the foot down and over to the hips. 1. Nice and strong. Beautiful. Finding my last one. And we meet in our nice wide child pose. Sink the hips back, reach the heart forward. Maybe take 1 round of breath here before coming up onto the hands. Really let yourself loosen for a moment. Then pressing up, Coming into our frog cobra pose, reaching the chest forward, getting a nice stretch in the front of the belly. One more round of breath. And then come to sit back on the heels, coming into a little deer pose. So we want to face the front of the mat, keeping your right leg bent behind you, left is in front, kind of like we're coming into pigeon pose. So we have our legs nice and bent, sitting up nice and tall. This one's sending the pelvis forward and back. We'll first kind of warm up with a little deer pose back and forth, and then we'll work through some more mobility. So find a little twist here. And then take the hands behind the bum to switch sides. So now your left leg is bent behind. Find one big breath here to kind of settle in. Notice what this feels like. Get a nice opening in the psoas, the pelvis. And then begin to carefully just rock yourself back and forth. Finding your own sense of flow. Maybe doing this with no hands, or using your hands if you need to, no judgment in that. I am a little tight today, so today will be a fingertip day for me. All right. And coming back, once you have both of your knees to the right side, so your right leg is in front, find your version of deer pose, facing the back of the mat. And then we're going to be working through this left leg with mobility. So first, ground yourself down. If you need to be up, sitting up on a block with a block underneath your hips, that's fine. If you need fingertips down on the mat, find what feels comfortable, because we are lifting the back ankle off, holding for 1, 2, then plant the ankle, lift the back knee. 1, 2. So we're working both through internal and external ranges of motion in the hip here. So 10 of these, if you can. Really focusing on the feeling of this hip socket. And if you need to move, switch positions at any time, please do so. Perhaps feeling your left hip become a little bit more open and stable as we work through. Continuing to breathe. And if you are following along with my pace, I lost count as I tend to do. So we are doing one more. I think that's about 10. Beautiful. Before we carefully switch sides and work through the right leg. So finishing out your 10, carefully switch over. Perfect. Left leg is in front. We give that one a little rest here. Find your position and then carefully lift the ankle and the knee. And this is going to look quite different, feel different on every body. So don't judge yourself if you can barely lift your knee or your ankle off. Or if you can't finish all 10 reps, that's totally fine. And in fact, it's actually kind of nice. You can use that as a benchmark. If we add this routine into our daily or weekly or even monthly practice and just kind of work through some of these motions in our other yoga practices or our other activities. If you come back, you just might be able to do a few more. You'll be able to see that improvement in strength, because mobility is not all about flexibility. It is also about strength, my dear. They definitely go hand in hand. Beautiful. Finding about one more. I think these feel really, really nice. Could almost just do these all day. All right. Releasing into your deer pose carefully. Come back onto the hips, plant the feet, and we'll work your way up through a little squat. We're coming into a squat forward fold flow. So find a little bit of your yogi squat or Malasana garland pose, whichever is your favorite name. And just take a moment here to open the hips. Maybe take one leg in and the other. Find a little sway. And then on your next inhale, plant the fingertips, toes face forward, and we extend through the legs, through the crown of the head. Exhale, squat it out. And inhale, extend. Working through the ankle joint as we turn our feet in and out, warming up the hamstrings, the hip flexors. Maybe we can find that after a few of these, remember about 10 again, then maybe we can begin to lift our hands off and float our arms. Let's find about 2 more breaths here. And then we'll end in a nice little forward fold, halfway lift, preparing for our next posture, which is a toe stand. So bending the knees, coming to sit up on the balls of the feet. We'll be rocking from here into a little camel pose prep. So releasing the knees down, lifting up, squeezing through the glutes, and rocking back onto the balls of the feet. This is another great one for the ankles. 10 here as well. I invite you to challenge yourself and try to do these without placing fingertips on the mat. It can be kind of fun to wheel yourself around using your arms, but really getting an extra little leg workout in here. Finding your balance, stabilizing through your core as well. Beautiful. Find one more. And then come down onto the knees. Take this moment to untuck the feet. We're going to get a little bit of an ankle stretch. So sit on the tops of the feet, place the fingertips on the mat, and just gently lift the knees. Maybe an inch off the mat. Maybe we go up onto the toes and really feel that nice ankle stretch, counterbalancing some of these. And meeting in a side lunge next. extending the left leg out. You can use your right as well. We're just going to be going from one to the other. So again, we can use our fingertips, or we can challenge ourselves and really try to hold this stability, balance, flow without. So we go from one, lifting up, into the other. It may take a few rounds to get the groove of this fluid motion or figure out where your feet need to exactly be. So take your time, enjoy the process. Extra challenge, we can try to stay as low as we can between our flip-flops. Really working through the tendons of the knee. But if any of this does not feel good, please skip it or modify as you need. It's the name of the game. All right, find one more on each side. Beautiful. And then we can come to sit on the bum, sweep that leg around for a staff pose, sitting up nice and tall. This is our last little movement here that I had for you today. So bringing the right foot in to the inner thigh, taking the hands behind the bum, kind of lean back a little bit. Activate the muscles in your quadricep and your calves and lift your foot off. Beautiful, relax. And on your exhale, squeeze and lift as high as you can. And this is an exercise that we can use a block, and we can kind of go one over the other. It's really strengthening your quadriceps and your psoas muscle. But for today, we were just practicing lifting off. Beautiful. Strong hips are happy hips. All right, just 5 more on this side. You got this. And your last one, hold. Beautiful, release. Maybe give yourself a little massage here. Make sure to drink plenty of water once this is done. Place your left foot to your inner right thigh. Find your position, inhale in, and exhale, lift. Beautiful, 5 more. Last 5, final 4. 2. And hold your last one, hold it. Beautiful. All right, find any stretches you may need, anything else you may want to work through. Locate any areas of residing tension, maybe hang out in child pose for a few moments. This was all I had for you today, this little mobility routine that you can add in to make your body a little bit stronger. So if you want a little cool down stretch, I will have some of those linked below or at the end of this video. And as always, I thank you so much for joining me on the mat and being an active part of this community, Yoga with Paige. Thank you so much. I look forward to the next time we meet.